Hello, everyone. Welcome to another race in A Link to the Past NMG League Season 10. Today we have Reynox versus DFS, and I've got Chex here with me to do the commentary for today. Go ahead and kick us off, Chex.
Thanks, Fox. We have today Reynox versus Drunk Future Self, and this will be another no major glitches race. So our runners are getting ready and they'll start soon. And the category is any percent. So we'll try to beat the game as fast as we can. And no major glitches are allowed. So here they go. They're off. We are Link. We are in bed. And we are mashing text that is being sent to us by Princess Zelda. Not sure what it says, but I'm sure that we'll have to rescue Zelda from the jail cells of Hyrule Castle. And here we go. So we're in the escape segment. It's always about clean door entry. Accidental map check for DFS, Drunk Future Self. And we probably won't be using the X button very much in this run, but we do get to mash it. So I guess as one of the face buttons, it does get hit a lot, depending on how you mash text. So, but anyway, when we're not mashing text, we're probably not using the X button. So on Reynox's side, we can see some input display. It appears to be the latest version of SNES 9X. And on DFS's side, I don't recall DFS's platform. And I have a feeling DFS is on a console of some kind, but I'm not sure. Anyway, it doesn't matter too much. Emulator players can experience a little bit of input delay, but it doesn't really matter very much. It matters a minute amount if you need the input delay for responding to enemy movements and RNG. But it is a minor concern. Anywho, onward into escape, we pick up the boomerang, and both runners deal with the guard well. They grab the boomerang and pick up the key. And we are off to the jail cell. So what strats will we be using? Reynox goes for a one-pot strat, and he didn't deal with the guard. He waited until the end. That's okay. Oops, DFS used an 8/ strat, which was good, but he talked to the door, and we didn't want to do that. That's okay. Onward. Reynox is first out of jail. So back through escape. We're backtracking through stealth room. Our runners are holding diagonal to avoid an anti-pump. If you let go of diagonal, you can lose a frame of time in that room. So it's all about small optimizations in this category. Because we know so much about about how it works. And really about what works. Okay. And we're back into the main room. Oop, Reynox goes low beneath the big pot. We want to go up above the big pot like DFS did. That is a more direct path. Reynox also dealt with an enemy by throwing the boomerang, which was good. It's just we don't need to go that way. Okay, we push the ornamental shelf, and we can't do that unless we pick up the lamp, by the way. And both runners have picked up the lamp, so that's a good thing. All right, into Dark Cross. Reynox gets a snake in the way. That's annoying. DFS has a snake as well, but it's below the chest, so he doesn't cross paths with it. That's nice. Okay, and so we see our runner's directions. They are pumping through the water, and pumping through water is the best place to pump in Escape. Saves a bit of time. And it looks like it saves time, too. It's hard to tell when you're really saving time with pumping. Okay, on to the last two rooms. Reynox avoids the text box, that's good, and so does DFS. And Reynox gets hit at the very end, that's okay. Both runners are now into the sanctuary, and they both have 1.5 hearts. No one will save time over the other on tech smashing. If we did have 1 heart or less, we would save time on tech smashing. That's just something that happens for some reason. As a community, we know a lot about this game and what happens, but I personally don't know the technical reason for that. All right, off to Eastern Palace. And let's see how runners do with avoiding the first green guard. They're doing pretty well. They stayed up high. They didn't get spotted. Onward over the bridge. No one can touch us. We're just moving. All right, Octorok Overworld. Now things can touch us, but we don't want that to happen. So good on DFS. None of the Octoroks run into him. And onto Eastern Overworld screen. Pretty tough screen. This is one of a couple of screens in this game that I find impossible to time. And that's because my fingers get very tired of all the pumping on the screen and the movements that you have to make are slightly challenging to optimize. But I don't know. There's a lot that's going on in that screen mechanically. All right, we're into Eastern Palace now. Reynox went for the heart pot. That heart pot doesn't lose much time at all. For me, I've noticed that it doesn't lose more than 2 frames or so. Oops. DFS doesn't get the Stelfo spawn exactly right. That's okay, he cleaned it up nicely. All right, on to the big chest room. This is actually our second time in this room, but we were on the upper level before. And our runners pick up 5 arrows from a pot. Always a good resource. I've pretty much never seen anyone skip those arrows in a race. And I hardly ever see anyone skip it in runs. Reynox goes for a 5 rupee drop. And yeah, better safe than sorry. At a certain level, you might not want to throw a boomerang to earn 5 rupees. Okay, DFS. Okay, so we have a good big key from both runners. I got a little sketchy for DFS, but he got through, no problem. And Reynox has the bow. And DFS has the bow. So Reynox is going into Gifted with Greenies. And that room is named after a strat that is not used. It's sort of a ridiculous strat with a ridiculous name. So it stuck somehow. All right. Okay, so we're into ZGR. How does Reynox deal with it? Reynox shoots the red Igor from the right side. It was an otherwise good room, but I would have chosen to shoot from below, like DFS is doing right now. And that lets the drop in front of him. All right, Armos fight. And Reynox has a looking pretty strong. That looked like a pretty well done 5 right strat. And DFS is looking, his rhythm looks a little bit different to me, but it doesn't matter because it's a solid fight. What I could see DFS doing was taking little steps in between the arrow shots. And it started to scare me because it made me think that the steps would step Link into the Armos Knights. And I didn't want that to happen. But DFS kept it together and it was a solid fight. Now Reynox is picking up the boots from Sahasrahla. And it's sort of the green pendant turn in. I don't know why we have to turn it in every time. Sahasrahla knows that we're going to just win the green pendant every time. No problem. Okay, good spin speed for Reynox. And yeah, there you have it. It's spin speed. It's a minor glitch. Good spin speed for DFS, taking a more direct route. And now we have the awkward bushes. Reynox drives through, no problem. It's optimal to just dash through the first bush and then dash down. But you run into this problem that DFS just showed for us, where if you just dash through the first one, you might encounter an issue where you pick up the bush below. So it's worth practicing and checking that screen out, and maybe working on some diagonal. I've tried diagonal down left. I've tried diagonal up left. There are some different things you can try there to avoid that situation. And Reynox now has the Book of Medora, and we'll be turning that into the Palace of Desert. And but first there's a bit more overworld to get through. All right, so Reynox uses a pause buffer to the menu to read his position, and he overshot just a little bit, but then dash down, so there's no water dash. And DFS, same. Well done. Oops. So this is a situation. An archer got in DFS's way, and it was hard to deal with them. Some bonks are annoying, but that bonk in particular gave us an RNG that there's no good answer for. All right. But it's okay. DFS gets to the moving statues, and he's on his way. Reynox goes for the Devalent kill with a spin. I guess that's how I want to say it. It's the Antlion. And DFS goes for a poke dash. That's nice. Nice to see different strats. Okay, DFS is good. Yeah. So it always looks a little scary dashing into that BMOS, but its hitbox is pretty slim. So you can just dash really close above it. To the side of it, that is. From above. Oh, okay. Nice job for DFS getting through those popos and carrying his sword upwards and dodging the BMOS Blazer. Now Reynox taking that big key onward, and Reynox missed a 5 arrow pot. I think that might have been an accident. I don't see a reason to avoid that one. That arrow pot is simply in your way. I don't think you have to make a choice between an arrow pot and a blue rupee, but maybe he did make that choice. We see DFS pick up the 5 arrow pot. And maybe Reynox says, I have enough arrows. DFS, on the other hand, has 28. That's 10 more than Reynox. And we'll need these arrows getting to Landmo. Oh, DFS gets stuck by a Devilant, and another one gets in the way if we go that way. Oh well. That's what happens. And Zelda. Alright, good RNG in the Popo kill room for Reynox. The top right one went toward the door. That's nice. And onward. Reynox is closing in on Landmo. He does the bottom torches first. Oh, good RNG for DFS too, but the bottom right one goes far to the top. But he doesn't really lose time there, so that wasn't bad. All right, here we go. Landmo fight. Reynox is in position. 1, 2. 4 hits on the first phase cycle, that is. Second cycle, not as great. Third cycle, we get some slashes in there. Fourth cycle, we're starting to take down the Landmos. And now DFS is entering the fight. And DFS is starting to take them down. Alright, Reynox is out of arrows. So this isn't going Reynox's way. Especially since he could have had arrows before. 5 more arrows would be nice. But Landmo's down. That's good. DFS is still working on them. And Reynox picks up the blue pendant. The Pendant of Power. So DFS is having a hard time with this last one. I'm not sure why I kept getting away from him, but that's Zelda. There we go. So Reynox is the first one out of there. And both runners had pretty good starts to that fight, but for some reason, they just continued on longer than they wanted to. It's hard to catch those last 1 or 2 if they don't have a lot of damage dealt to them. So, anyway, on to... Okay, so Reynox didn't get the setup for fake flippers, so he's going to try to wing it. And he gets the right side instead. DFS gets it quickly. Now that's a nice time save for DFS. this is speedrunning in a nutshell. We're going for a minor glitch here, fake flippers, and it cost Reynox a bit of time, unfortunately. DFS saved time with it, however. I believe it's 7 seconds that the trick saves, so it's a shortcut, you know. So we want to do it well to make sure we get the time save out of it. But yeah, when it's like it's one of those things where if you cut the bush, it's hard to correct it. It'll just there's no good alternate setup. You just either go for a screen reset, which costs a lot of time, or you go for the right side setup, which Reynox did, and just buffer Link's position until you get to the right place. So, well done correcting it. Anyway, we are off to Death Mountain at this point, and Reynox gets the very important spin speed. That's good to see. Did DFS get it? Yes. I couldn't tell while he was on the ladder, but yes, he's got it. And yeah, Reynox is looking strong. Both runners are looking strong. They've both only have taken a half heart of damage, and I didn't see where Reynox took his damage. It could have been South Shore. Could have been South Shore for both runners. I'm not sure. Oh, Reynox went for the crystal switch 2 times. I'm not sure why. Something happened. Okay, anywho. DFS is right behind. Yeah, so both runners got past the gatekeeper, the difficult to deal with mini Moldorm in the lobby. And DFS has not taken any damage in Hera as of yet. And Reynox has just taken 1 heart of damage. Both runners at over 4 hearts is a good sign that nothing can go wrong from here. And both runners are using a similar strat involving positioning Link at the bottom right of Tile Room. They both get out. Ooh, look at this pause buffer for DFS. I'm not sure why he let that dash go. It was a bonk. Maybe he wanted to test it to double check, see whether it would bonk or not. I'm not sure. Okay, onward. Reynox is ahead. Let's see these beetle strats. So we've got Reynox using, it looks like the ACM beetle strat. And DFS goes for the optimal strat. It didn't go perfectly, but he backs it up well. And both runners get through beetles, so that's good. And now we're on to Petting Zoo, and Reynox needs to bomb jump now. And what strat will he be using? Places the bomb, then he does a spin setup. Well done. Let's see what DFS goes for. DFS also places a bomb and then goes for a spin. I'm not sure if there's a little difference or not involving when they slashed, but similar setups for both. Good on DFS for getting the rail clip. And Reynox also went back a little bit for a 5 arrow drop from a Kadongo, and that was a good pickup because he was at 0. So now at 5, he actually has more arrows than DFS at 3. All right, here we are at the Moldorm fight. And Reynox is in rage phase and he's down. Good job. Good fight. Well controlled. And DFS pulls off the kill from sort of the middle, and he just lured Moldorm into him and he won. So good Heras for both runners, IMO. And woo, Reynox gets a spin speed out of Hera, going to probably the lowest pixel he could get before the edge. Now DFS hits the edge by accident. We don't want to go that way. It's slow. Oh well. DFS gets to where he wants to go. Okay, so Reynox at 5 arrows wants to pick up this pot. Now let's see what DFS does. I would like him to pick up the pot, because it's nice to have these arrows. If under 7 or 8 or 9 or so, I'm not sure which. Probably under 7, you really want those. Oops, Reynox doesn't have the lineup correct and misses 1 arrow on the bird. That's okay. He gets it on the second arrow. All right, so we are into Lost Woods, and this is a fun screen coming in and going out, because we want to earn a number of kills to get tree rupees. We saw the first tree. And both runners are looking good on rupees. They just want the next tree pull to give them 80 rupees. And that'll be all for rupee collection here. But I didn't see where DFS is. I imagine he shot the bird. I'm not totally sure. But we'll see. So anyway, Reynox. Oh, actually both runners might need to get an additional kill. Let's see. Yeah, Reynox goes for the left slash on the bird in the log. Reynox also picks up mushroom. Ooh, DFS goes for the log dash. And so they both get the mushroom. That's neat to see. So we saw the rupee pull from Reynox and now DFS. Well done. All right, so here we are onto the west side breeze screen. I don't know if we can call it that, but I just did. It's hard to get that dash aligned correctly. I've had a problem with that. We saw DFS take his time to get aligned. All right, into the castle, and now onto Castle Dungeon, which we normally call Castle Tower, which we sometimes call Aghanim's Tower. In fact, that might be the usual. So call it what you like, CT, AT, CD. All right, let's see what strats we got. So we got Reynox using dashes, and that is a nice backup. DFS goes for the typical strat, the optimal strat of using beams and a dash. And that's a nice little time save for DFS. And both runners preserve their prize pack from those enemies, the high value prize pack. And we'll see the prizes drop in Turtle Rock for when we need them. And good dark pits for Reynox, just dodging the guard. Now, DFS goes for a slash. That was good. That was handled well. I'm not sure we needed to slash it. Okay, so Reynox is low on arrows, right? So he's going to slash the red guards to death. And there we go. Now, DFS has enough arrows. It's not the count that he wants, but he does use the arrows to deal with the beer guards. Okay, so Reynox has 6 arrows now, dealing with Circle of Pots well. Good Circle of Pots for DFS too. Wow, that was really interesting, because he just let the top guard go left completely, and I've never seen that, but it worked. All right, nice diagonal boom throw for DFS to take care of the catwalk guard. All right, our runners are pretty close. And both are in the cutscene. And Zelda, we find Zelda, but she's transported to the Dark World for some reason. But we'll be on our way to the Dark World soon. And now it's the Aghanim fight. So we'll just watch for RNG here. There's not too much to talk about. Maybe our runners will hit Aghanim to the middle. That's really the only thing you can do to help speed up the fight. But even then, you don't know where Aghanim will warp. Looks like one blue ball for DFS. I looked away. I shouldn't have done that because I'm trying my best to count. It looked like Reynox got 0. I didn't see any blue balls on the screen, so I'm saying it's 0. I could be completely wrong. And I've seen 1 for DFS. That seems good so far. So clearly this will be a 1. Oh, I'm wrong. There's a second one. Or at least another one. All right, DFS. All right. We're standing pretty far from Aga, which it's not... It's fine. It really is fine, unless it's the last hit. Then we want to be close up to Aga. This could be the last hit. There we go. Third, that's the hit after the lightning cycle. So that was 3 for DFS. Reynox saves a lot of time on the RNG of that fight. So there we go. So he's probably ahead by 30 seconds or so. And I was going to say something else about that, but... Oh yeah, so DFS's last hit, we could see the energy ball travel from Aga to Link, and then from Link back to Aga. We don't want to watch that happen, because those are wasted frames. We can hit the ball immediately, and then Aga should be down. So just a little optimization we can look at, as long as we are sure not to actually slash or spin Aga. That would normally be bad. So just something I like to watch out for. But again, it only makes a difference on the final hit. For the other shots, it doesn't matter when you reflect the ball. All right, and I missed the Kiki hop, but that's okay. It is RNG, and it does not affect anything. So, no need to mention it, I guess. Okay. On to Palace of Darkness. Looks like a mini hop for DFS is Kiki. Or is medium? I couldn't really tell, actually. Question marks about this part. Okay, anyway, we are collecting keys. Let's pay attention to the runners. We are getting a big key. And, okay, so DFS has 5 arrows. That's not ideal. We'll see how he deals with mimics and such later. DFS gets a key dash. That's not optimal, but it is funny, so points for that. Okay, so then we have the big key, and then Reynox will be making his way to the hammer. And DFS has a walking strat for the bomb, for the floor bomb. I don't know what you call that. Bomb floor, screen, room, hub. And well done. And then Reynox is going to hammer now. And it's time for hammer jump. One of the hardest screens in the game to get optimally and consistently, because we want to have 2 vertical pixel perfect lineups, and Reynox does it. And it's a 1 bomb strat. That looked good. And now it's DFS's turn. And good dash turn and good setup. Very well done. Yeah. So I believe that was the 2 bomb strat for DFS, and we saw the 1 bomb strat from Reynox. Both strats are actually pretty close in time. As Fox says, 1 bomb good. And if you have to take more than a second or 2 to correct your position on the return, then it's not really quite worth it to go for the 2 bomb strat. Okay, Reynox gets through mimics. That's good. So we'll check how it's going for DFS, and he's coming into this room with 4 arrows. That's not ideal. Let's see if DFS goes for the pot. Yes, the mimic dropped a heart, and that's unfortunate to be on that drop, but I didn't know that's where we were. So DFS had to go for the pot, losing a tiny amount of time. Reynox, onto Turtle Room. Let's see how this goes. So we had a turtle go downwards. I don't know if I would have one-cycled this either, and I would have done pretty much exactly what Reynox did there. So that was well done, and DFS is now going to Turtle Room. And that's what you want to see. A 1 cycle from DFS where everything goes well and there are no problems to be had. Now it's the Helma fight for Reynox. And this is a tough fight. This is definitely a gatekeeper in the speedrun. So let's see how Reynox deals with the second phase. Mask is off. And we take a hit. We can take no more hits. So Reynox needs to be careful here. And wow. That was an amazing final hit. There was a charge, and Reynox could have lost his life there, but he didn't. And I'm in such shock that I missed DFS's fight completely, but he's through the fight as well. So that was great. Well done from both runners. And we move on. So, we have a text mashing cutscene here. This is where we are making use of the X button potentially, and you know, mashing away. Maybe we're mashing the whole time. Maybe we're mashing just at the end of the text scroll. But basically, we learn a little bit about the maidens and the dark world, and then we move on to the next dungeon. So what is the next dungeon? Swamp Palace. No, we're not going there. How about Thieves Town, the 4th dungeon? That's where we'll go now. And to get there, we will be going south around the world, and we will be getting the flute, and then in Thieves Town we'll be picking up the mitts, which will be used to get tempered sword. And I don't know. I think that's what the route's all about. Maybe I'm missing something, but that's basically why we go to the 4th dungeon. We want the flute and we want tempered sword. There's probably something I'm missing. Anyway, Reynox is going into the Dark Grove and talking to the Flute Kid, aka Stumpy. And there we go. So now Let's see. Reynox he goes a little bit down. Lower than I expected. We get a first try dig, always a good thing. Looks like DFS is set up on the quick warp. Yeah, it looked like that was it. So that saves 34 frames. And by the way, that's about half a second. So there are certain positions where the transition takes half a second less time, and that's what we want to go for whenever we can. Hard to set up every time, and hard to get it, It's just hard to get generally. So, okay, good spin speed for Reynox. Dashing past Usain Bolt. DFS, no problem at all. Right on Reynox's tail. Wow. So DFS made up quite a bit of time in pod, and maybe even in the Thieves Overworld here. I didn't quite see what happened to our runners. I will say, this is a pretty long overworld before a dungeon, It's about 3 minutes long. So I think it's the longest overworld there is. Yeah, we have to do a lot. We have a cutscene in it too, so that takes up a bit of time. Cutscene or two. And in chat, we're talking about the Three Musketeers screen. I didn't take a look, but that's a fun screen to optimize. And it can be fun to see how runners deal with it. Okay. Anyway, we are now into the Thieves Town dungeon. And okay, Reynox. Uh-oh, Rando Brain. We picked up the compass. Oops. So DFS right behind him. They were both almost in the picking up big key animation at the same time, but DFS is right behind. Yeah. So that can happen. I've been there as well. And now we have, so I haven't talked about key dashes yet. Reynox got one going to the left. DFS either didn't line up correctly or just didn't go for it. And okay, Hellway. Reynox gets through without too much of an issue. And DFS as well. Very well done to get that without the initial start position. So well done to both. Yeah. I'm kind of interested in the in how compelling it is to pick up that compass chest. I don't know why that is. It's very compelling. Okay. And our way back. So we get this RNG from the Gibo. Reynox deals with it well. DFS diagonal. You didn't need to, because what you can do is you can just walk down and dash right, but it certainly was a safe movement for DFS. Oops, Reynox takes a hit that he didn't need to. DFS gets a bomb. That's nice. DFS is 1 up on bombs now, 7-6. Our runners are using walking strats in the jail cell, taking it nice and easy. Okay, good frame rule for DFS. Love to see it. There's like no reacting to that. You just go. It's perfect. Oops, Reynox dashes into the electrifying Bari. Let's see if DFS... Oh yeah, DFS has got beams, so he takes it out. Good to see. All right, into the blind fight, Reynox. All right, so this boss takes 9 hits to defeat, and it's a scripted fight, so there is no RNG, and if we learn the script well enough, we'll have the same fight every time. So, let's see how Reynox deals with it. Textbook fight. There was a little bit of dancing there that was spooky to me, but that's fine. And DFS takes care of blind as well. Well done. This is a great race so far, and props to the runners for making it a good one at this point. We're halfway through the game, basically, as we exit Thieves Town. So, yeah. We're mashing text, and as we leave here, we'll be going to Skull Woods next, Dungeon 3, and we'll pick up the Tempered Sword before that. And off we go. Reynox plants a bomb, picks it up, throws it. We are going into the brewery here, aka the Bombable Hut, and we'll pick up 300 rupees there. And fun fact, that chest is a conditional chest. That might have a red boomerang in it, but that only happens if you have no boomerang yet. So one advantage to picking up the boomerang and escape, and pretty much the main advantage, is that we get the 300 rupees from that chest. And we pick up the frog. We've rescued it from being trapped behind a rock. And now we take it to the light world, and it transforms into the smith, and we return the smith to his brother. And they'll help us out by tempering the master sword at a discounted rate. And it's only 10 rupees. Only Link gets this deal. Everyone else has a rusty old master sword. But Link gets a good one. And with that, he's able to defeat Ganon in only 12 spins. And onward. Let's see what we get. We get its fence dash from Reynox. You love to see it. And then we go into the C-shaped house and pick up the 300 rupees here. And DFS is right behind. So we are into Skullwoods, and we get this sort of scary overworld theme. And another fun fact is that we get sort of a whooshing wind sound effect layered on top of this if you're playing on the US version of this game. A lot like the Dark World Death Mountain theme. I don't know why it's different. I feel like it's a mistake to add it. But the sound and music engine is different in the North American release, so things were changed. Some things are, I think, better. Like the southern part of Kakariko Village still has town music in the North American version, and I like that change. Okay, bomb jump time. Reynox gets a very high position for that bomb, and it scared me a little bit, but it was fine. Now DFS took a dip. That was a slip. Now Reynox is low on health. I think the mummy room didn't go as planned. I didn't really watch it because I was talking about incidental things. Okay, DFS takes a rope a hit. Now he's on 4 hearts. So, yeah, this is a scary place for Reynox. Now DFS is not out of the woods at 4 hearts. So both runners need to be careful. And when I say that, I mean, play the game without. Okay, so Reynox took an unfortunate death. So, he didn't lose too much magic, but that's not a good thing in Skullwoods because sometimes you need to refill a bit. DFS makes it through the Mumway, no problem. Okay, so Reynox. Okay, so this is not good, but you can still get through. All right, on his last shot, he gets through. Now DFS is going to Mothula. He'll be the first one dropping into Mothula. If we do the fight just right, we can defeat Mothula in 3 hits. Technically, it can be done even quicker than that. Okay, so DFS is at 1 heart, so it's a bit scary, but I think he's got it. He's got it! Moth is down. So Reynox is also beeping. So again, it's a scary position to be in, but if we're patient, we can sometimes get through it, and Reynox gets through it. Now, patience does not reward you in this fight, because it gets chaotic the longer it goes on. So, yeah, so basically it's helpful to learn the scripts to take down Moth in, with a poke dash strat. It's not really a poke dash strat. What do you call that? Well, it's basically a dash charge. And I guess you can call it a poke dash. I'm not sure. But the point is, the fight can begin with a double hit. And then the goal is to land 2 more hits. But it's not really a script because there's a lot of RNG going on with the Moth's movement and then the random patterns of the floor. So there's just a lot going on all the time. Anyway, we are off to get the Quake medallion and then the flippers. So here we go. We're carrying a rock through a transition, and then we use it to throw at the Ropa. DFS takes a hit from the Slayrock. I think that's how you call it, how you say it. Okay, good backup for DFS. Going back to full hearts here. Oh no, Reynox took damage. Also from a Slayrock. So both runners get the 50-50 heart from a bush. That's fortunate. And we saw Reynox bonk. And this sets up for a quick warp. Again, a quick warp saves 34 frames. And if we're too high on that bonk, if on that dash, then it's possible to sort of soft lock Link, getting stuck in the water. So we have to be careful not to be too high there. And I say sort of because the only normal way to get out is with a save and quit. If we get into that position. But that's not common. Okay. We collect the flippers from Zora. And we have to get out of this place. This is the longest overworld screen. And it's important to sort of cut corners but not splash. It's a hard screen to optimize. And we can save on lag frames a bit by dropping our sword before hitting the transition. Ooh, nice dash for DFS. Killing the 2 crabs in one go. Okay, so Reynox gets an annoying Zora, but chooses to go the other way. Now, he could have checked that position by pausing a little higher up, but I respect the choice. Another way to deal with it is simply to wait for it to spawn and then fire at it. That can be more difficult depending. Okay. So Reynox does not have full hearts. DFS does. And it can be an advantage to have sword beams. So DFS is ahead, but not by much. Are butter and silvers used in NMG? No, they are not at this level of gameplay. Some people will choose to use them, but typically speedrunners will learn to not go to the pyramid fairy in the any percent speedrun because they can get silverless hits on Ganon. And not going to the pyramid will save a lot of time. Okay, Ice Palace Bomb Jump. That sort of breaks this dungeon, and it's an important trick. So DFS gets it, Reynox gets it. Well done. DFS gets the penguin lineup. Well done. Okay, DFS. It looked like, okay, Reynox also gets penguin lineup. Now, it looked like DFS was going for a sword spin clip through the stairwell, but he didn't get it, or he chose not to at the end. And both runners get through that room. That room's called Lonely Firebar. Okay. So DFS is the first to drop down to Cold Stare. He has 6 hearts, and let's see. It's a single poke strat, and he ends it with a slash and textbook. All right, Reynox starts the fight with an ice hit. That's okay. Okay, Reynox deals with Cold Stare getting slightly disorganized and keeps them all on one side and cleans up the fight. Way to go. This is such a great race. The runners are doing pretty well. Now, we did see a death from one of the runners, but it didn't lose too much time. It's still a close race. It's still anyone's game. And now we're back to mashing. So what's next? Swamp Palace is next. So we'll probably see some item collection, aka shopping, from our runners. And we'll probably see it from Reynox. And let's see what DFS does. He's the first one back to the overworld. Takes care of that pickle. Because why not? Yeah, DFS is going for it. Ether, that is. So he flutes to 1. Ether Medallion is one of the trickier items to route in every category because it's hard to get back to this location after you retrieve a sword upgrade. Okay. And Reynox going for Ether as well. Okay, so Reynox missed the ladder. That's fine. Okay, and good menu for DFS. And there is the medallion. Oop, uh-oh. That's not the setup. So DFS went for a bird dash, but it wasn't the setup that is consistent. So it didn't so Link passed through the bird. Link passed through the bird. That's somewhat costly. Now Reynox has a collection of Ice Rod here, so it's Long Swamp. And what this means is it will look like Reynox is behind, but really we don't know for sure who's ahead or behind. So our runners will sync up whenever DFS gets Ice Rod, which is probably not for 2 more dungeons. So, okay. Interestingly, both runners go for the 50-50 rock in front of Link's house. Now, neither runner picked up a bomb from this, so that's a bit unfortunate. Reynox sitting at 0 bombs. However, DFS has 2, so he didn't really need it. Now, if he wants bombs, we'll probably see him pick them up in Swamp Palace. And he will want bombs. But how many, I'm not sure. He goes for a hammer dash. That's a hard hammer dash to do without taking damage. Oh yeah, Reynox goes for bombs in the dam. That's a good choice. Okay, so we're in Swamp. That dungeon I mentioned before, that comes second in order after Pod in numerical order, but we save it till now. So we are slightly overpowered. We have Tempered Sword. A lot of enemies die in 1 hit. In fact, there's no enemy that takes more than 1 hit. Right? Right. Okay. Reynox will not bother with a hammer dash or bomb collection. So now they're tied at 3 bombs each. And then on arrow counts, Reynox is a bit ahead. Not ahead, but rather simply has 15 to DFS's 9. Argus takes multiple hits. You're right, Fox. Argus is an enemy, sure. In the sense that he's not really a friend. But it is the boss of the dungeon, so I didn't include it. Okay, so how are we on hitting the switch? DFS hits the switch. That's good. And Reynox. Reynox has hit the switch. That is also good. I have been in a situation where I've forgotten to hit that switch. It's not pretty when that happens. Because then we have to go back to hit it. And it takes something like 90 or more seconds to correct. And that's not how you route Swamp Palace. So, our runners know how to route Swamp Palace. And DFS is on to the... right. Reynox is now hitting the switch. There we go. So I was going to say DFS was in the sociable fire bar room. I didn't quite see how that room went, but it seems fine. Reynox got hit by a shooter. Now that shooter will be triggered as long as you are dashing, but if you cut off your dash while Link is above it, then it'll be a shorter dash, and then it won't trigger again. So it's good to cut that dash when Link is above it, and then simply diagonal down left for the rest of the way. Then you won't get hit. Yeah, social firebar for Reynox, and Reynox does not get hit. Now Reynox is positioned, yep, for the hammer dash. There we go. And there's a lot of item dashes occurring in this dungeon. Like DFS just did an item dash with hookshot. That makes it easier to pick up the pot. Since I haven't mentioned it, item dashing is available only on the 1.0 Japanese version of the game. After that, item dashes were patched out. That is pressing Y and A on the same frame. It's a minor glitch, and it helps us save time, especially with spin speeds and hook speeds. But hammer dashes save in certain rooms too. And we saw it featured prominently in the overworld in Thieves Town, but I forgot to talk about it then. Anyway, Reynox maybe didn't get the item dash with the hook in Hook Dash Room because we saw it a little bit tricky for him to pick up the pot. Okay, on to Argus. Okay, so DFS goes for an item dash, and we're seeing how it is supposed to work. We are getting a pattern of repeated Y presses once we have our sort out item dash. Okay, so DFS goes for a backup of slashing instead, and he has 4 hearts, so we're not in danger, I say, reluctantly, hesitantly. Well done with a fire rod kill. That's 2 fire rod shots and a sword spin. Okay, Reynox also goes for the sword out hook dash. And he doesn't get the rhythm exactly, so he backs it up with slashes. And things are looking good. Let's see how Reynox deals with the fire rod strat. Okay, so Reynox was a bit out of the path that Argus takes, so we got just 1 jump. Not bad. So, again, Reynox and DFS appear to be somewhat close. Now, remember, DFS still has to pick up Ice Rod soon. So, when will that be? Probably not now. Now, DFS's next dungeon will be Misery Mire. So, let's see. We are seeing DFS pick up the rock from below, and that sets up the altitude variable. So that's a setup for a glitch that's coming up called Spooky Action Glitch, and we'll see that later. What is the altitude? What is the altitude variable? Let's not worry about it. Let's just pretend we all know what it is. Okay, here we are in Mire 2, a fun room to optimize. Let's see. DFS gets an extra cycle on the whiz robes, but cleans it up nicely. And DFS doesn't get through. The spark gets in his way because there was a bonk. That's okay. Now, he lost a little bit of health. That's not ideal. We want high health in Misery Mire because we take intentional damage on a spike floor to get a key quickly and in a boss fight to take care of the boss. Oh no, Reynox. Okay, so Reynox got into a situation where he waited for a Wizrobe cycle but couldn't reach the Wizrobe from above. We needed to be to the side of it. Okay. All right, DFS. Fire Rod's a Bari, good choice. Always good to Fire Rod it to get it out of your way if it has any potential to get out in front of you while you're trying to pick up a pot. And so here we are in the 17-second cutscene for DFS as the moving wall moves. For casual runners these days, it's hard to tell what's going on. Like, it's hard to tell that you've like done something right. But yeah, you've done something right. You've solved the puzzle. The moving wall is moving. Perhaps you didn't know there was a wall there, but there is. So it's a 17-second cutscene. That's exactly the same as the pod moving wall cutscene. And we have the big key now. So DFS, nice, safe dashes, good return to the Meyer meetup room, aka lobby. And he pulls out the hook shot. We get to cross a gap. That is a bit of a shortcut. We get to use the hook shot a little bit to save time here and there. Some people use it on the spike floor. Now, DFS takes a little bit of extra damage, not quite getting into position where he wanted to be. And okay, so we didn't get a heart drop from the Wiz Robe. That's an unfortunate. So, you know, we don't need it, but it would have been nice. Okay, so DFS does a little dash charge before placing a block, and that's because of maintaining the spooky action glitch. We're going to see spooky action in action, and okay, DFS fire rods the spike in a different position than I'm used to. So its area of effect hit the crystal switch above it. Okay, now DFS is out of magic, but he does get spooky too. Now that hit the crystal switch that's on the next screen, and we got to skip that screen. So since DFS is out of magic, he doesn't get to do Spooky 3. That's okay. He's out of magic. That does mean he can use Fake Powder. So let's see. There we go. So he's at full health. Good use of our mushroom and a little glitch. Okay. Vitreous fight. Solid 1 cycle. 0 cycle, that is. Now we just need to take care of Vitreous. Well done, DFS. Reynox is not going for Fake Powder and goes into Vitreous at 7 hearts. And it's not the movement you would expect, but it is a 1 cycle, and that's good. Okay. Let's see these arrow shots. Well done. Vitreous is down. Okay. So there is a little bit of wiggle room, but there is essentially a script to Link's movement in which Link goes into the goo and gets iframes from the damage that he takes, preventing 4 hearts of damage from eyeballs. And so both runners went through the fight without taking an eyeball hit, from what I could see. So well done to both runners. And here it is. This is DFS time to pick up the ice rod. It's the last. Okay, we got a crab in our way. Nice. I wasn't sure if. Okay, so that was not ideal. Not sure why we tooted the flute, but there you have it. DFS is gonna lose time on doing the screen again. So that is a time loss. So Reynox has a bit of a lead now. I was gonna measure how like who would be ahead after a typical ice rod pickup, but DFS does not keep things typical around here. DFS keeps us on our toes. So we will be watching to see if DFS can catch up from here. And we have a very difficult dungeon up ahead. It is called Turtle Rock, known by no other name, as far as I'm aware. So anyway, so we have the peg puzzle. Reynox does not get the hook speed. That is okay. It keeps him in control, and he's able to land the hammer hits. Oh, nice menu. I was surprised to see the menu occur before the Quake cutscene. I like it. Okay, and we see a hook from DFS. So this is hook speed. So he saves a bit of time on running, but then loses time on extra running. So you win some, you lose some. And that is Zelda. Okay, so we have the torch room for Reynox. Let's see how he deals with it. It's a pretty tight movement to hook that bottom left torch. So Reynox misses the upper window and goes for the hook from below. And so, let's see. So Reynox, okay, takes damage from the roller to get through the room. And he, okay, so he walked a bit before dashing, which was the right thing to do because of the way the room was going. And the Bari got in his way, which is just annoying. DFS needs to hit this. Okay, he had to double shoot the fire rod. Okay, so Reynox does well with the chomps, but then gets hit at the end. It was just a chomp in the way. And I appreciate Reynox being aggressive there. Wow, there was a stray Pokeball that almost hit Reynox after bonking. A lot is going on in this dungeon. There's a lot to comment on. Okay, so we see DFS mirroring, which is good. We see him charging a spin, which is odd, but I won't question it. Okay. All right. Okay. I always get scared when we turn into a bunny and then there is a floating skull in the way. Okay, DFS also gets hit by a chomp at the end of the room. Now, both runners dealt with the room well, and like didn't get the bad RNGs where you just get the chomps and your blocks way. So they're both able to hit the switch, but the chomps just get in the way at the end, which is frustrating. I don't think we've seen fairies yet. Now, we are going into double pokies for Reynox. We'll see how this goes. Yes, we do get a pokey, and he uses fire rod strats. That's a nice, safe way to get through, especially when earning a full magic drop from it. So that's really nice to see. Now, DFS got his full magic already. So that is a good thing, but he won't be able to, like, spend any extra magic. Okay, so DFS does something a little bit different, and it might be something. I know DFS wants to look at this dungeon a bit more, but I think he knows what he's doing too. Again, he's keeping us on our toes. So what's gonna come up is the oops, that wasn't quite right. So what's going to come up is the Krista roller room, and the pegs will be down. So he's going to have to deal with this a little differently than we see most runners deal with it. So he's got the block in his way to start. Ooh, we got we got a laser skip from Reynox. No problems there. Now that's a hard room to do optimally. And Reynox does it no problem. Now we have the peg puzzle. And Reynox gets through no problem. And DFS is being safe, showing us that if we use the hookshot, we get iframes. We simply will not be taking damage from the fire bars. Now Reynox is on to the try next fight. Ooh, okay. So looking good. All right, so DFS, okay. Everything's fine. I'm not worried. He's got 4 hearts, so we don't want to touch anything. What will we do here? Will we just be careful? We will hit a pokey, which is dangerous. But we're standing on a peg, so it's all fine. Reynox has a normal I think it was normal. I was a bit more scared looking at DFS's screen. But anyway, Reynox had a fight with Trinex and it went fine. Now DFS's turn to fight Trinex. It was a backdoor 1 cycle. Thank you, Holy Smoke, for the report. Now, the backdoor strats are pretty consistent. They really help consistency, in my opinion. And so we're seeing a different strat for DFS. Front door. And Trinex is down. So, well done. And we see Reynox out of Turtle Rock on his way to Ganon's Tower. Uses hook speed for that first room. And now we are opening Ganon's Tower. Nice walk down, but we do have a sword out in front of GT, which can lose on lag frames. I don't know how many. Minor time loss, but that's fine. It's not really a loss if you don't know what you're losing, so I won't say anything. Okay, we're into Ganon's Tower. The important thing is we're playing Zelda, and Ganon's Tower is a fun part of the game. And so we have 3 keys we can pick up, and Reynox goes for Torch Key. And that's my favorite key. I don't really know the other strats well enough to use them. So that's the key I go for. And okay, so we have a tricky room, the spike skip room. Reynox gets through it no problem. And Reynox looks well practiced at these difficult rooms, the double crystal switch room. And now we're coming up to the fire snake room. He goes for a bonk to start. Uh-oh, we've got a trapped fire snake. That's okay. We can tank it. Not an issue. And now it's DFS's turn. Now DFS skips the torch key. That's interesting. So we're having a slight route divergence. And we'll see which key DFS picks up later. I have a sneaking feeling it's the Helma key, but I don't know for sure. We'll find out. It's a secret. To me. Uh-oh. Reynox gets stuck with the anti-fairy. But okay. Everything's fine. That's it's easy to lose a lot of magic there if that goes haywire, but Reynox is fine. So we have the Ice Armos fight. This fight is a scripted fight, but it's hard to do. And if it goes wrong, it's hard to fix. But it didn't go wrong. It went great. Reynox now has 15 arrows for upper GT. So things are looking good. And now it's time for the upper floors. The spike floor, we lose 3 hearts here, but it's fine. Now Reynox smartly picks up the magic pot after losing that bit of magic from the anti-fairy. Okay, the Mimic's rooms are quite difficult, and Reynox takes care of them no problem. And now it's DFS's turn for Ice Armos. Now we're seeing a little bit of extra left and right movement from DFS, but he's still going according to script, and it went perfectly. And well done. Now DFS has 11 arrows. He's happy with that. He's not going for that last chest. And Reynox is up to Gauntlet, a series of 5 combat rooms. And so far, so good. Oh, okay. Reynox goes for an arrow shot to start G2, which I don't know. I don't know that strat. That was fun, though. And, okay. Reynox loves using the bow, which I think is fun to see. All right. Into G4. Okay. Finally, we have our Fire Rod for G5. And well done. That was a fun gauntlet. Nothing went truly out of hand, which is sometimes all you can ask for. And I got to see a YOLO arrow, so that was fun for me. And Land Mode 2 is down. Okay, DFS is going to play it safe. He's taken some damage and wants to make sure he has the health for upper GT. And meanwhile, Reynox is taking care of Wizrobes. Always a sonically pleasing room. And on to Wizrobes 2. No problem. Meanwhile, DFS is entering Gauntlet. And, okay, so we got G2 going a little out of hand with all the skeletons above DFS. But he's able to take care of them quickly. In fact, his shooting skills are being shown off in G3, which was really good. And Reynox is up to Torches 2. It's going to use a bonk. Now, that's quite different than I'm used to seeing. Now we're seeing some extra Fire Rod shots. This is to empty the magic meter. And Reynox is preparing for fake powder. Land Mode 2 is not going very well for DFS. And Reynox is now full of health and magic power. Moldorm 2 for Reynox. What will his strat be here? Okay. Moldorm 2 is down. And DFS will have to be careful with his magic power. And DFS is entering Torches with 0 magic. So he'll have to use lamp strats and get a magic refill. But he knows what he's doing. And on to Aga 2, which is one of the hardest screens. A very hard boss to optimize. And it's just challenging, but it's fun. Reynox, so far so good. DFS makes it through Torches 2. Ooh, that looked like a triple at the end. Nice way to clean up the fight. Alright, so where are we going DFS? We are not getting the helmet key. We will be getting chest key. So the bomb. Oh no. So, okay, no, it's fine. That had to blow it up. Come on, DFS. All right. I think we have a graphical glitch, but I could be wrong. I am wrong. Okay. I am truly surprised the bomb didn't go off, but that's because it appeared to perhaps be too far to the left. But he gets it. So, meanwhile, Reynox is on Ganon. And we do not have silver arrows, but we can still win. And that is done with silverless spins. It also helps to get torch glitch. And we'll see how Reynox deals with that. Currently, we're on phase 3 and getting a lot of warps. So, here we go. End of phase 3. We get the first spin. We get a nice lamp spam for the torch glitch, and that is successful. And now Reynox has switched to Fire Rod, and we'll be taking... and Reynox will be spinning Ganon and then lighting the torch every 3 warps. And things are looking good. Meanwhile, DFS is on the Aga 2 fight and takes down Aga 2. And from the sounds of things, it looks like I missed a good Moldorm 2 fight. Meanwhile, Reynox has taken down Ganon. And well played. Good game. Looks like Reynox with sword up will be transitioning first to the Triforce room. There it is. Nice run. GG's. And DFS is on Ganon fight. "33-second PB. I did not know we were on PB pace. And by the look of Reynox's splits, it would be hard for me to know that without looking at the time very well. And I didn't look at the time very well. So, well done. Congrats on the PB. And DFS unfortunately took a death at Ganon, but he will persist. Yeah, so by the way, in chat we saw the official SRL race time, room time of 1:32. Now that's just because it was a late dot done. The timer, as Reynox says, is a 1:31:14. And so congrats on the PB. And if either runner would like to join for interviews, that will be good. If not, that is also all good. And DFS is on to phase 4. Oh no! We took a hit in phase 4. That's painful. Okay. Onward. DFS. We'll try again. Okay. So, back to Ganon. Nice and easy. We're hitting Ganon. So we're on phase 1 here, and it takes 12 hits or a combination of slashes and spins. And now we're on to phase 2. Again, it takes 12 slashes or a combination of slashes and spins. Spins deal double damage to Ganon. And we're on to phase 3. So we're always on edge about RNG in phase 3. Runners who are on a slight PB pace can just see PB slip away due to Ganon's warps, which are always a 50-50. All right, DFS gets Torch Glitch. Still has decent magic power for the Ganon fight. Sure. Oh, hello. Reynox, GG on the run. I can hear you. Oh, perhaps I'm listening only to the stream and rather not the interview booth. And DFS will continue. And we get Ganon in that scary bottom left position. DFS is careful not to slash in that position downwards. And just plays it safe. And Ganon is down. Way to go. Way to persist. Big GG's to DFS. GG. And welcome. Reynox, congrats on the win.
Thank you.
And I didn't realize you were going to PB this run, so that was great to see. How are you feeling?
Oh, my heart is not racing or anything. No, I'm fine. Yeah, I feel great. Got some crisis that I need to shut down before getting there, but yeah, that's nice.
Like what, for example?
Oh, Helmazor, let's see Matsula.
Yeah.
This was very scary too.
Yeah. Yes, of course, the boss fights are a little bit scary, so you can certainly work on de-scarifying them.
Yep.
But yeah, it was a good run. I mean, it's great to see. It looks like you had 3 golds as well. One of them was just an RNG gold, but it looks like Ice Palace and Ganon's Tower were good. So
Ice Palace,
how about Ice?
No,
what
Ice
happened
Palace was
in Ice
not.
Palace?
I just forgot to spit after Skullwood.
Oh, okay, got it.
No, there's no. The GT was a real cool.
Okay, good.
That was nice.
Yeah, and how about those arrow strats? That surprised me.
Well, I really struggled on Land Molas, so I don't know. I felt like I had no arrows for the rest of the seed of the race.
Oh yeah, right. But what I'm saying is that your arrow shots were pretty fun in Ganon's Tower. So.
And what?
In Ganon's Tower.
Yeah.
It looked like
I like arrows.
Yeah,
I like arrows on Ganon.
So that, I mean, it was fun to see. That's really all I'm saying. And we are joined by DFS. Hello, and GG's on the run.
Hello, and GG's on the win there.
GG, that was a close race. Really
yeah, I was watching your stream and I'm like, oh, it's 10 seconds, it's 5 seconds. It's, just going back and forth on some of those. And then, yeah, you got what was it, a 30-second PB? Or sorry, gold split, which really put you ahead. And then I completely messed up Ice Rod Cave. I fluted to 8, I ran up there, and then instead of placing a bomb, I fluted.
Oh no.
I very quickly looked at the top of the screen and I'm like, oh, that's blue. That's good. And so I just used the item that was there.
Oh. Oops.
Yeah, I
I
heard the flute sound and I'm like, just dodge the duck, like just get out of the way. And I moved down and it picked me up anyway. I'm like, oh well, that happens.
Yeah, I was following the chat on the ZFR, ZSR, yes. So you struggled on this.
Yeah, so my timer didn't start up immediately. And so I'm just like, the first part of the game, I'm just like trying to get the timer up and I'm like, just forget about it. And at some point I pulled up the map and I'm like, that's stupid. Why did I do that? Like just mashing buttons.
Yeah, it happens always. After that Master Sword cutscene. Your spot.
Yeah, so that was a fun run to watch DFS. I don't know what I want to ask you about the most, but I do want to ask you about your Turtle Rock crystal switches, because I feel like you're doing too much in the crystal roller room. What do you think?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, so I got in there, and I know I typically would just use sword beams to hit the thing, and then use the Samaria and hit stuff. And I didn't have sword beams when I went in there, and I'm like, I don't know what to do now.
Yeah.
And so I just started using the Samaria, and I'm like, this kind of works, I guess.
Yes.
A lot of extra movement.
It did work. I do want to encourage hitting that crystal switch in the Poke 1 room on your way out, because that will make that room a lot easier.
I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You just hit it while walking or dashing up, and then continue the dash up.
That makes a lot more sense. Okay.
But
yeah, I guess I should just watch more runs to figure out like how people do certain things and trying to emulate it.
Yeah. And your run kept me on my toes. So I said that a few times. It was a tense race. And GG. What else? Yeah. Anything else before we wrap things up?
I can't really think of anything about the runs. But yeah, thanks for the restream and thanks for putting this on, Fox, that you're in here. So thank you for putting this this league thing on. So much fun.
Yes, thank you.
Agreed. Yeah, thanks for racing. So I'll throw it back over to Fox. Yo.
Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for the great race. It was super close up until very late on. Very fun to watch. Thanks, Chex, for the comms as well. And I think we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. We're gonna go over and raid Corey, aka Yurok, who is also running NMG at the moment. We will have more NMG League races coming up. I don't know if we'll get any of the remaining ones from this weekend. They're at kind of bad times for me to do, but hopefully we can find people to get at least one of tomorrow's races on. And there'll be more next week. So thanks everyone. GG's again to the racers. Congrats on the PB. Thanks to Chex, and I'll catch you guys next time.